Hi friends, you all may know about the famous Indian English writer RK Narayan and his famous fictional and imaginary town Malgudi. Through Malgudi, he had established his own place in Indian English literature. Today, we are going to discuss the ninth chapter of his autobiography, My Days, that is, Mass in the seventh house. So, before that, if you are new or didn't subscribe this channel, please subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon so that you won't miss the future updates from this channel. As you all know, he is the stalwart in Indian English literature, as his novels are being widely read across the world. He was the leading author along with Mulkraj Anand and Raja Rao, and he is been often called, and his novels are being often called as box of Indian sweets. Through his works, he throws light into the delicate aspects of Indian village life, and he had universalized this life through his fictional town, imaginary town, Malgudi. Here, in the autobiography or memoir, My Days, especially as we are going through the ninth chapter of his My Days, that is Mass in the seventh house, the author RK Narayan recounts his early love affairs, how he had left many young girls in a society where meeting of girl and boy were forbidden, and there were restrictions even in the meeting of men, that is girl and boy. And when finally he was able to left Rajam, his future wife, there was hurdle of horoscope. That is, his horoscope was that Mars in the seventh house. Mars in the seventh house is a defect in horoscope, and he should have found a girl with the same horoscope. That was the belief. But somehow he managed in overcoming all these problems, and he finally married Rajam. And through this autobiography or this ninth chapter, he also explained the difficulty he faced in leading the life and his life as a reporter of a newspaper, and how he had got his works published, especially the first novel Swami and Friends had published with the help of Graham Greene under the publication Hamish Hamilton. All these being very frankly explained in this chapter or ninth chapter of My Days. Let us have a look at slightest look at the author's life, then a short summary of this novel. In this autobiography or this chapter of this autobiography of My Days. Anyway, as all his novels are a social commentary, in this also we can find a kind of social commentary, and whatever difficulties was there in his life, he was able to overcome all these difficulties in consummation of his love and securing a good job and finally getting his works published. Okay. Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayana Swamy, famously known as RK Narayan, was born in Madras on 10th October 1906 and was died on 13th May 2001 at the age of 94. He is the creator of the imaginary place, the Malgudi. He was leading author in early Indian literature in English along with Mulkraj Anand and Raja Rao. He won Sahitya Akademi Award in 1958 for his work The Gate, who was the first English writer who won the award. His autobiography is My Days. He was honored with Padma Bhushan in 1964. The country also honored him with Padma Vibhushan in 2000. He also won A.C. Benson Medal by Royal Society of Literature and was made honorary member of the American Academy and Institute of Arts and Letters in 1982. He became a member of Rajya Sabha in 1989. His works highlights the social context and everyday life of his characters. He is being compared to William Faulkner, and his works is being compared with those of Gadi Maupassant. His stories were of compassionate humanism, humor, and energy. His works reflect an ordinary life. His writing style is of simplicity and humor. He is being considered as the master of irony, realism, romance, and artistry. Mars in the Seventh House is the chapter 9 of his memoir My Days, in which RK Narayan recounts his marriage to Rajam in the face of a grave astrological hurdle, his struggle to make both ends meet, and the obstacles he encountered as a budding literature. He relates how, after having been rejected by every publisher, his first book, Swami and Friends, was published by Hamish Hamilton of London, thanks to the good offices of Graham Greene, who remained his lifelong friend. The next two books, The Bachelor of Arts and The Dark Room, approved by Greene, were also published by Nelson and Macmillan respectively in the same way. The chapter Mars in the Seventh House begins explaining his attempt over loves, that is, early loves of Narayan. RK Narayan was born in an Orthodox Brahmin family. He grew up in a society where the girls and boys were not allowed to mingle each other. When he became a young man, he began to search for a lover who will match him. But he never could not talk to any girl in the society, as the society restricted free mingling of men and boys and girls. He found the girls unapproachable. He could watch them among the crowd, in the balcony, on the opposite side of the road, etc., but never could talk with them. But his reading habit made him fall in love with girls. A single look of a beautiful girl made him fall in love with her, and she made him awaken for so many nights. But on seeing another one, his love was transferred to the other one. It was short-lived. In the early days, his first love. At a time, he fell in love with a girl in green sari who had an oval face. He used to eagerly wait for her and never missed her sight. He found chances to meet and talk to her. Once he proposed to her, but his love for her disappeared very soon when he could not meet her for some days. Then he found a stout girl who was drying her hair on the terrace. She too could not keep his interest for a long time because a student of Maharani College had stolen his attention from him with a single smile. Next, he came to love an English girl. The last one in the serial love stories of RK Narayan was an English girl. They used to exchange letters and photographs. He wrote letters filled with his love and feelings for her, but he got the replies which never spoke about love. He continued writing his letters until his marriage was fixed. Then he threw the letters and the photographs into the well. Love of Rajam and marriage. Apart from the infatuation, he fell really in love with the girl in the year 1933 whom he married. Then he was staying with his sister at Coimbatore. He used to see the girl who would be fetching water from the street tap. He watched her when she was passing through the street. Later, he happened to know that she was the daughter of the headmaster who occasionally visited their house. Narayan made a comradeship with him and sometimes visited him at the school. After establishing a good friendship with him, one day Narayan proposed to his daughter. He could not reply at the moment as the consent from both the families was necessary. Moreover, the horoscope must agree. Problem of horoscope in getting married. Unfortunately, the horoscopes did not match. According to the astrologers, the horoscopes were incompatible, so the proposal was rejected. Narayan became a tragic hero and left taking food. He avoided the girl and school. This continued for weeks. His sister was terrified by his nature. It was by this time he wrote the play The Home of Thunder. The astrologers did not change their calculation. Then the headmaster, who was considerate to him, sent him to Chelapsar. On hearing his story, Chelapsar laughed and asked the headmaster to carry on the idea of marrying of his daughter to Narayan because the horoscopes were not harmful. The marriage was arranged with great pomp and splendor. They had a marriage function according to the wish of their parents. Rajam became a competent housekeeper. Soon after the marriage, Narayan's father was bedridden because of stroke. Hence, his wife Rajam had to make the charge of the kitchen. She had to take care of his younger brothers and also had to keep an eye on the cook who had the habit of stealing things. Even then, she found time to spend with him. Role of a newspaper reporter. Narayan started working for a newspaper, The Justice, published from Madras. The propaganda of this newspaper was against the Brahmins. Even then, they appointed Narayan. The work was hectic at the newspaper as he had to go on foot for news hunting. The newspaper had to compete with the other newspapers. Most of the news collected by Narayan was unimportant and was not published. At home, he used to share news to his wife while relaxing. After tea, he had to rush to magistrate court. On Sunday afternoons, he had to attend the municipal meeting and academic meeting on Sundays. With history professor. One day, a professor in history insisted that the news should be scrutinized by him before publication. Narayan insisted that it was an act which violated freedom of press. He protested against it with the support of some journalists. Quit the job of reporter. Narayan was interested in reporting murders, and he used the word alleged to mention that. He was familiar to the police officers and prominent figures in the society. He was able to earn 30 rupees a month. He enjoyed his work but had to leave the job since he was kicked off from the payment for 3 months. Financial crisis began and he had to manage family expenses along with the needs of his wife. When Narayan received a cable from his friend Purna, who was at Oxford, his work with the justice came to an end. Publication of his first novel. The cable had the message that his novel was selected for publication with the influence of Graham Greene. At first, his novel Swami and Friends was rejected by many publishers. Purna searched for publishers and at last he reached Hamish Hamilton with a recommendation from Graham Greene. But he rejected Narayan's second novel, The Bachelor of Arts, since Swami and Friends was not a financially successful one. It was Nelson who published The Bachelor of Arts. Narayan's father passed away in 1937. He had not saved much money then. But with the birth of his daughter, his second novel was published and he was pleased with his life. His short stories were accepted all over India and worldwide. He and his elder brother lived in the same house which had the name Rama Vilas. Both of them shared the expenses. By the time he wrote humorous articles in Merry magazine and started his work for his third novel, The Dark Room. Every morning he used to leave home for 3 hours. At his home, writing was not easy and he was provided with room by the secretary of college union. The Dark Room dealt with the story of women in an Orthodox Indian society. It was published by Macmillan in 1938 with the approval of Graham Greene. Thank you.